Hello everyone out there in YouTube land, my name is Will, this is Will of the Nerds, and we're back with another Decktech video. And in this one we're doing my main Goblin deck, which I thought I did, but I must not have, because it's not on here. So this is just going to be green, red, I guess it's red-green, because red's first, red-green, Goblins, and casual format as the usual. And red-green Goblins, of course, is going to be mountains and forests. We'll start with our basic land for mountains. That is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, which, that's weird. 13's a weird number. I don't know why I have 13. But sure, whatever. I'm going to double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 13. Okay. 13 mountains. And I think there's 4 forests. There's 4 forests. And then we do have a play set of Timber Gorge, which is from, what, Oath of the Gatewatch? Oh, we have 3 of. We don't have a play set. I thought I had a play set. So that's why there's an odd number. I do have more Timber Gorges now, so that can easily become a play set, which I think is that's what we're going to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the ones I have are from Zendikar, Oath of the Gatewatch. And then we can subtract that. That's 20 lands. I would probably run a couple more, although this deck has never really lost for me, because as you can see, once this deck gets going, if you have 3 mana out, you're pretty good to go. Okay, so I'm gonna separate this into spells, well, creatures, and like instants and sorceries to make this go a little quicker, because I think there's a fair amount of both in this. So, yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that card was an instant. That needs changed. So, that is slightly annoying. Oh, there was another forest, or mountain, I mean. Now I need to go back and look. I might have a playset of those in here. I don't know. So let's see. Some stuff is going to need taken out. I believe this deck is over 60 cards. So it would probably be beneficial to take some out. There is a playset of Timber Gorges in here. Okay. Boop. No, I just want to... Yeah, so there's a playset, and then there's 2 of them. So 22 lands. Okay. Okay. Alright, so let's look at the creatures here first. So we have Goblin Dark Dweller to start with, which I believe there's 2 of in here. Yes, there is. Alright, so we have Goblin Dark Dweller. And sorry, you can probably hear my freaking chair screeching in the background every time I move. It is annoying. More than you could know. Alright, so we have a lot. Let's obviously narrow it down. Goblin Dark Dweller for 2 of. Let's change the set because they are from Oath of the Gatewatch, I believe. They are. It's not a promo rare. It's just, there we go. That's what I have. So it has Menace. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that card would be put in a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. Almost every instant and sorcery in here is going to be 3 or less. And you could probably guess what they do. They create goblins. So it just allows you to get cards back to create more goblins. And we're going to get into that very, very soon. If you if you've played Goblins before, you probably know where this is going. All right, so next we have Legion War Boss, which I believe is 2 of also. It is Legion War Boss for 2 of. It is from that set, so I don't have to change nothing. It has Mentor. Whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power. It's going to be one of your tokens. I really don't worry about it because it's in there for the second part, which is the beginning of combat on your turn. Create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. It gets haste until end of turn and attacks this combat. I don't know why they put that in there. That's a little weird detail, but okay. But yeah, it creates a token at the beginning of every combat. So as you can see, the token creation is starting. All right, next we have Beetleback Chief, which you probably guessed it, is probably a 2 of. I was wrong. It's a 3 of. All right, so, oops. Beetleback Chief for a 3 of. Are they all the same set? No. One is from Eternal Masters, yes. And then the other ones are from a dual deck. Which one is it? Speed versus Cunning. And these ones, when it enters the battlefield, creates 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. So, as you can see, we have one creature that allows us to recast an instant or sorcery, and the other 2 creatures have created tokens. One creates tokens whenever it comes out. Another one creates a token at the beginning of every combat. So, you keeping track yet? That's 2, 4, 6, and let's say at least 6 more goblin tokens. So we're up to like basically 12 tokens at this point. All right, next we have Goblin Warchief. And there might be more than one of them in here. There is not. Okay, so there's only 2. I think I have some of these in my other one, which is probably why there's only 2 in this one. They are from Dominaria. We have Goblin Warchief for 2 of. And as you can see, Goblin spells cost 1 less to cast, and Goblins you control have haste. Remember that second part? That is the important part for the card. And I didn't think he was from Dominaria. I think I have a couple copies of him from other things. All right. Next we have Siege Gang Commander. Oh, that's the one I have a playmat of. If you watched my live stream, I have a playmat with him on it now. It's from one of the opens from Star City Games, but I wasn't to it. It was a Christmas gift for, like, the end of the year bulk stuff that they want to get rid of. Okay, so we have Siege Gang Commander for a 2 of, who's also from Dominaria. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create 3 Goblin tokens. And you could pay 1 colorless and a red and sacrifice it, and it deals 2 damage to any target. I've never really done the second part. It's mainly that first part, creating more tokens. Because that's what this deck does. Just creates tokens. Just keeps creating tokens. Okay, next we have Goblin Chainwhirler for a 2 of again. Is it all one word? It is not. Okay, so one of these is foil. So let's do that. And then we have just a regular one. First strike, whenever Goblin Chainwhirler enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. It's in there just for that. It's basically just a little ping damage. And eventually just, you know, it might not do anything. Maybe it'll kill a planeswalker. Maybe it'll save you a turn from a planeswalker getting its ultimate. It's also first strike, which is nice. This one is probably an iffy one that might not need to go in there. It's just that red burn damage a little bit that maybe could get some chump blockers out of the way to open up for your goblins. All right, next we have Goblin Rabble Master for a 2 of, and they're both from M15. So let's change that. M15 rare. Okay. other goblins you control attack each turn if able, so basically gives them haste, except for him. But he has haste because of Siege Gang Commander. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 red goblin creature with haste onto the battlefield. Okay, so we have 2 goblins that at the beginning of combat are creating tokens. Whenever it attacks, it gets a +1/+0 until end of turn for each other attacking goblin. So it can get very big and very, very scary, but it's still not going to be that strong because it's going to only be 2 toughness. But it can get very big, and if you throw a little more green in here compared to what I have and give it trample, it becomes a big scary thing. But it's basically, it's in there as the distraction, because you're like, oh, I can take a hit from 8 goblins and block this guy, but like it's you're still taking 8 damage, compared to what, 16 damage. Well, it'd be 18 because it gets +2, right? Or +1. So yeah, instead of taking 10 damage, you're just taking 8 damage, which, oh, that's a fair trade, but it gets worse. Oh boy, does it get worse. Alright, so next we have Kranko 10 Street Kingpin. I almost got tongue-tied over that. Kinko? Yeah, it's not Kinko. Why did I put Kinko? Kranko. Okay, so we have Kranko 10 Street Kingpin for 2 of. Let's actually -1 of them because one of these is foil. And it's from War of the Spark. Yeah, I guess it is War of the Spark. Update. And then add. And now we can look. When he attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on him. Then create a 1/1 red goblin creature token equal to Krankos' power. So, whenever he attacks, put a +1/+1. So, basically, at the beginning of every combat, if you attack with him, you get a benefit from him. But he's the weakest out of the 2. Because, of course, I have a playset of Kranko Mob Boss. If you don't have Kranko Mob Boss in your Goblin deck, it's not a Goblin deck. I'm sorry, it's just not. Dual deck, Merfolk versus Goblins. No, it's not from that one. I do have some copies of that one. It's Speed versus Cunning. Alright, so tap, put X 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens on the battlefield where X is the number of goblins you control. Now, you know that bit of other goblins have haste? You can tap him as soon as he comes out now. And I've had that happen. I've had Goblin Warchief, was able to play Kranko for 3 mana instead of 4, and tap him immediately and get like 4 goblins out. It's ridiculous. It gets very out of control very quickly, and it doesn't get much better because there's going to be other things coming. Because you'd be like, oh, that's all right. Like, I mean, they have haste, so you can attack with all of your goblins that turn, and if they die, whatever, you're just going to repopulate next turn as long as you keep a few of your base ones alive. But if some of them block and your stuff's tapped out, then your opponent can swing in at you, or they can play basically a board wipe, something that gives everything like -2/-2, or everything a -4/-4, like Mizzy Mortars in the one video. It's either going to be before this or after this. I won't tell you the deck, but if you overload it, it does 4 damage to everything. So, that's why we're gonna come up on some stuff here. But we have Kranko's command in here, so I'm gonna go fish it out. I believe I have 4 of them in here. Yes, I do. We have four Kranko's commands, and they are from different sets. So I have 2 from different sets. So Kranko's command, where are you at? We have 2 from M13, and then we have 2 from that dual deck, Speed versus Cunning, and put 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. And if you notice, it costs 2 mana, which means if we cast it, or if we have an instant or sorcery, if this is in our graveyard and we play Goblin Dark Dweller, then we get to recast it, and we get 2 more. The last creature we have, since it's right on top here, is Grumply, which I really don't know too much about. I guess I should do that. Oh, Grumgully. Grumgully. I can't talk, and I don't know how to read. All right, so we have 2 of them. This is in here to protect myself from, like, small board wipes. Each other non-human creature you control, which I control no humans, enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. So they're going to enter with a +1/+1, basically. So as far as I know, that's how it would work. They enter, they don't have a +1/+1, but they're going to enter with a +1/+1. If I have something that I should really get just a mono green enchantment that creatures enter with a +1/+1 counter on it, then I have this. Then they enter with an additional. So it would get Krankos out of reach of Mizium Mortars, and they would have to do something else to kill him. But I have 2 of them in here basically just to help buff my creatures a little bit. And then the next is just more spells, you know, to create tokens. Next we have Dragon Fodder, because that's what most goblins are. They're just dragon fodder. For a play set of it, and they are from the Dragons of Tarkir. There we go. Put 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. Again, play it. Play Goblin Dark Dwellers. Get more. Okay, then we have a couple of these, which it might be better to have Hordeling Outburst, because it costs 2 less than the next one. And I think, because I have 2 Hordeling Outbursts in here and 2 Goblin Rallies, because I didn't have any more Hordeling Outburst. Okay, so I added an A where I didn't need to. There we go. So they are both from Masters 25, so I don't have to change it. Now I just need to find it, which is going to be right there. It creates 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens, and this one can be recast with Goblin Dark Dwellers. That's why I'd rather have 2 more of these in here than Goblin Rally. Goblin Rally is nice, but it doesn't really work. So you create 4 1/1 goblin creature tokens, which cool, but if you have Hordeling Outburst, you get 3, and then if you have Goblin Dark Dwellers, when it comes in and you have Hordeling Outburst, you're getting another 3, where this one, you can't really do anything with it. So take it how it is. You could also, what was the one goblin you really didn't need in here? Like Chainwhirler Goblin. You can maybe take Chainwhirler Goblin out and put Goblin Dark Dwellers in, but it also costs 2 more mana for Goblin Dark Dwellers. So, you know. So there you go. You got that. I need to change the set. They are from the original set, Return to Ravnica. Their original printing. Okay. And now we have Second Harvest for a 2 of, and this does go over 60 cards. I believe it's 62 is what it's going to be. Second Harvest, there is, I do have Doubling Season. I would like to get Doubling Season for this deck, but it is very expensive, and I got these cards. One of these is foil. I got these cards opening up, what is it, Innistrad? Shadows over Innistrad? Yeah. So I opened these. So these are old. These are original ones. I like when Innistrad first came out, got these. So we need to fix that. Okay. Oh, the wording changed. Okay. For each token you control, put a token on the battlefield that's a copy of that permanent. So it's basically doubling all the tokens I have. That's why it's in here. That's why I would rather have Doubling Season. Doubling Season is an enchantment, and I believe if you were to create a token, you create another token. We can actually look real quick and see. Doubling Season. Okay, yeah. If an effect would create one or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many instead. If an effect would put one or more counters on, okay, so you get the gist. Basically, if I create a token, it creates another token, which would make Krankos even more powerful than he already is. And then the last card in here, which won me a lot of games, and is the reason why they should be afraid of you creating tokens, and that is Impact Tremors. So I have 3 of them in here. Impact Tremors is, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Now you see why creating all those tokens can be a pain in the ass. Oh, Krankos comes out. That's not bad. 1 damage. If I have 1 Impact Tremor out. If I have 2, that's 2 damage. But most cases just 1. So 1 damage. And then if he has haste, you're tapping him. That 1 damage turns into 4 more damage. So you just took 5 damage, and now you have to go up against like 10 goblins coming at you. Chances are at least 5 more damage is getting through. And if you don't have any enchantment destruction, you're probably going to die next turn. Because you can play an instant, it's going to create 2 tokens, which Impact Tremors is going to do 2 damage. And then you can tap Krankos, which is now going to do maybe 3 more damage, which is another 5 damage. And then you're going to swing out again. And yeah, you see why it can be a pain in the ass. That's won me a lot of games. All right, so let's save this. Okay. We got 23 creatures, 12 sorceries, 2 instants, 4 enchantments, 22 lands. Let's look at the details. I'm going to ignore that, so let's take $5 off the total price. Doubling Season? Really? I don't know why I have Doubling Season on there. Why did I do that? Edit. Did I add Doubling Season by accident? I did. Okay, so that should honestly take the price down. That was my bad. I wasn't paying attention. So, yeah, that takes the price down a lot. 23 creatures, 12 instants, yeah, 12 sorceries, 2 instants. Details, $4 off. Impact Tremor. Wow, Impact Tremors is that expensive. Really? I have a bunch of these too. Thank God I do. Gee, I didn't realize that. That's an uncommon too. Or that's a common card. That's a $3 common card. Second Harvest, okay. $5. And Kranko's Mob Boss. $5 a piece. Really? I think he went up in price, because there for a while he was like $2. He went up in price. So $68 for this deck, which, I mean, I guess isn't terrible. That's not bad. You want Doubling Season? No, Doubling Season isn't one I have in the other deck. It's Parallel something. Parallel Lives, maybe? It basically does the first half of Doubling Season. If you create a token, you get another token. But there's the visual spoilers. And let's look at the starting hand here. That's not good. We're going to go with a new hand. When I play with my friends, we get 1 free mulligan. So, keep that in mind. So we have Timber Gorge. Add another card. We'll play Forest. Play Dragon Fodder. Why not? Get 2 tokens out. Then we can play our Mountain. Play Goblin Warchief. So all of our goblins have haste now. And goblin spells cost 1 less to cast. I would swing with the tokens. Probably get at least 1 damage in. Draw a card. And now we're getting all of our freaking lands. So we can play everything, can't we? We could play Goblin Rabble Master for 2 mana. And we can play Goblin Warchief again for 2 mana. So Now, 2 colorless less to cast. Well, I guess the easiest thing to do would play Goblin Warchief for 2 red, and then just play Goblin Rabble Master for 1 red. Because we can play red, red, and then red. Okay, so we got enough red mana to do it. And now you're going to create a Goblin at the beginning of combat. And when it attacks, it gets a +1. So I would swing with everything. It's going to get 1, 2... 3, 4. It's going to get +4, so they're going to focus on that. It might end up dying. Chances are it will, but you're going to have 4, 5. You're probably going to have 6 damage go through. So that's 6 damage. Let's say that's about 7 damage altogether going through. All right, so let's play our mountain. We could play this for 1 mana. So now at the beginning of combat, again, you're going to get a token, and I would just swing with the tokens at this point. I would attack with a Legion War Boss too. Why not? So you're probably going to get another 1 in, so that's 8, and that's what we're waiting on. So we have Kranko's Mob Boss we're going to play, and we could tap him immediately, and we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say 4 tokens. All right, so we got 4 more goblins, and we're going to hold off. We're not going to attack. We're going to leave everything. All right, we're going to play mountain. We're going to tap Krankos again, and that 4 is now going to turn into 8 well, we get 4. That's 4 on top of what we already had, so we're going to get 16 goblins altogether. And now I would swing with all of your tokens, maybe get through with a little damage. And at the beginning of combat, you're going to get a token too. I forgot about that. So, yeah, you're swinging with like probably a dozen goblins. A little bit's going to get through. Goblin Rally. Tap Krankos. Swing out with all of your goblin tokens again. You get the gist. Like, your opponent might be dead at this point. This is the most land I've ever drawn in this deck. Of course, it would be on a video and not in real life. Again, Krankos command, tap Krankos. You don't want to attack with Krankos. You want to keep him alive as long as you possibly can. And what's nice is you have a card in your hand. They don't know it's a land, but you never know. Maybe you got a burn spell in here all of a sudden. I would keep it face down. I probably wouldn't even play it. You don't need to play any more mana at all. Like, you have all the mana you need. So I would honestly hold the rest of the mana for the rest of the game. Add a card, Goblin Dark Dwellers, Krankos command, get 2 more tokens. That's probably going to be game. It's like, it took 11 turns, but honestly, you probably had them killed in 9 turns. And that's without impact tremors. So you see how much this can snowball really quickly. So there's the probabilities, and we will let the video go there. So if you guys could please like, subscribe, share, hit that bell icon. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. You can follow me over on Facebook and Twitter. The links to those are in the description. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one.